Have you ever wondered 2024 from what? Even Christians maybe have not dwelt on this. But that's 2024 years from when Jesus came into the earth as a baby, born of a virgin. Then he would walk the perfect number of years and then go to the cross at about age 30 or 33. We know that that was approximately 30 or 31 AD. It was previously thought possibly up to 33 AD, but more study has flushed that out that it's not. If God said, I will return in 2 days, and 1,000 years is like a day unto Jesus, that means he's going to come back in 30 to 31. And the world has just signed a covenant with many for a 7-year agenda covenant that ends with 2030. You may have heard of the 2030 agenda. So the enemy is putting all of the pieces together that are in the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel, just like God spoke it. And Israel, there's a prophecy that Israel will not pass 80 years before the end comes. They're 75 right now. So we have a lot of information that points to this year, the end of a 7-year perfect warning from God of a group of watchmen all over the world speaking up, telling everybody. But I want to testify. We weren't wrong in what we were seeing. We were seeing supernatural signs, as he said, I will put signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and perplexity upon nation, and great deception would rise up. And then one entity would control the entire world. Did we already see that in 2020? Did they shut everybody down and put everybody around the world in masks? Who has that power? The Antichrist, the one that's coming. And you know they can do it again in a moment. But if we had a 7-year warning where knowledge of God's purpose was just increasing, just like it said in Daniel, I'll open the books at the end. And at the end, knowledge of my purpose and plan will be increased. So this group of watchmen, we have been looking a little silly to most of the world. But if you look at the prophets of God, you know, Isaiah had to preach 3 years naked. And Ezekiel had to lay on his side for 390 days and eat bread cooked with dung. And many of God's prophets, Jonah, got swallowed by a whale. When he got spat out, you know, he was just resurrected from being dead. He would have been pale white and looking like a ghoul. And he goes into Nineveh and says, oh, the end's coming if you don't repent. Well, what we have coming up very quickly, and I'll show you this, is another sign completing this 7-year period. So we invite you to come back. The end is near. I believe many of you that thought it was crazy 7 years ago now are thinking, hey, that's not so crazy. And if you want to, we have studies to show from history, from Nebuchadnezzar and Cyrus and Artaxerxes and the Promised Land and the decrees in the Bible that bring us right to this period of time. We can show you that Israel's rebirth was exactly as God prophesied from the decree to rebuild Jerusalem till Israel came back was exact number of days. It wasn't random. And that brings us to looking at another future time in 2028. If you knew that from the time of Nebuchadnezzar, the exact prophesied number of years would bring World War I, would you think that was interesting? Or when Hitler would rise, or when the Nuremberg trials were, that are prophesied and put in the Bible, that the Dome of the Rock, which was the great abomination put in a holy place, was an exact number of years. And from that time brings us right to our modern time. So these are the things we are seeing, and this is why we spoke up. So